That right there, man. That back to our fertility stuff. What you just said right there is something that I had the realization of within the last 6 months is before you start, you have to make peace with an outcome. You have to make peace with that outcome because you've got to be able to leave it all on the line and saying like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it does? And what if it would have worked if I would have given it more? But I had to make peace with an outcome to justify giving it my all, whether that outcome ever came true or not. And like that has been my big why. Is it's like I will go all in on things if the outcome matters to me, whether it's guaranteed or not. Because what am I going to learn along the way? And I will be able to live knowing that I have no regrets and I left it all on the table. And if it doesn't work out, well, guess what? I'm still farther ahead than what I was when I started, and I'm a lot closer to being to that goal than what I would have been otherwise.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipelineinc.com. This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by Unlocking Greatness with Jacob Emery, a coaching community built for those ready to become the strongest version of themselves. Weekly calls, proven playbooks, and a community built to grow. Greatness is not given, it's unlocked. Join us today at jacobemery.com or DM coach at jacobemery44 on all social media platforms. Welcome back to another edition of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Josh Reiss, or Josh Reiss, as I also call him, is on the show today. And I'll tell you what, it's really fun to get to sit down and talk to another blue-collar man that's traveled, done the work, paid the dues, has a similar outlook on leadership and what the industry is about. And we don't live that far apart, actually. So it's kind of unique that we're doing this virtual. But next time, Josh, we'll have to get in person. Josh Reiss, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. I'm happy to be here.
Josh, I want to get right into the blue-collar workforce. So this show is because of the blue-collar workforce, because I was at 18 years old, dude, dead or in jail by 21. That was my ceiling of success when I graduated high school. Barely survived high school. And then at 20 years old, I fell into the industry trap of the environment that is in this industry is what I became a product of. Didn't change anything. I just actually got worse after graduating high school because it was a lot of adults doing bad shit, not just a bunch of kids doing it. So they're more experienced and obviously know how to get in trouble more. And it all turned around. I just said, you know what? I don't want this to be my life for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And turned it around with a little bit of change. And it went such a long way for 2 years, and then everything turned around after that. What is the industry like for you? And you travel cross country a lot. You do a lot of different type of scopes of work. What do you think about the industry in general and the bad habits that consume a lot of people?
I think that part of it that I've seen is, guys, or it's just a vice, right? Because so many of these guys, like, and it being from a small town, it's like you said, dead, jail, military, or traveling to make good money to support their family. And, with so many of these guys on the road all the time, they're missing home. They're in uncomfortable environments. They are, just places that they are not familiar with at all. They are making a lot of money and they feel the need to cope with it. And they feel the need to find an outlet, find a vice. And unfortunately, I think for years and society, there is a certain side of society, I think, especially in the trades and in, just people from the country, right? Like they're starting to go back towards religion and God and just being wholesome humans. But for years, you hear about all the old timers and all the old heads and all the things that they, found themselves in to cope. And I think that's where a lot of that comes from. You just get guys that are testosterone, ego, whatever, and they're out of town and they all want to kind of one up one another. And then it is a dead end road at 100 mile an hour.
It is pride. Pride is
100%.
I've seen it take away a lot of men's ability to have any pride, and then I've seen it kill a lot of them too. And dude, over the last 5 or 10 years, I've seen handful, 10, maybe 20 plus of people that I knew close that died because of poor choices. Like health was not a thing. sit in the truck, not get out at any given time, donuts and Mountain Dew for breakfast, and just lived a miserable. I mean, these son of a bitches were so mad at life. They hated themselves so much they wanted everyone else to be miserable. And I think that was one of the defining things for me, like coming up through the ranks. I don't ever want to be this miserable. Like these guys
Hmm.
hate themselves, and then they're
Yeah.
taking it out on everyone else because it's how miserable they are internally. And I was like, I just can't live this way. I want something different. I don't know what, but at 20 years old, man, I made that change. I traded happy hour at Applebee's for walking on a treadmill listening to a book.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes a night, that was like the start. I remember it in Athens, Ohio, I did it, and it was like my starting point. And then I
Yeah.
never looked back after that. And the micro dose of personal development, walking on a treadmill at night versus happy hour, chugging beer, it was incredible to turn around. And then I had clear vision after that. I could see so much bigger of a world and much more clear of what's possible. Have you had any defining moments like that where you just seen this thing and you turned it around? You had this adversity and then got the little bit of change and then just took off.
So there's been a lot, through the course of my career because for when I was in high school, I had no direction. I actually had one of my senior teachers look at me 2 days before graduation. He said that, you Tommy Boyd your senior year. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you're gonna pass.
Hmm.
I mean, man, I graduated with a 1.8 GPA. And if you can even call that graduating, I got a diploma, right? And I didn't have any direction. And at the time, I was dating a girl, and her dad was a captain on the local volunteer fire department, and he got me. He was like, "Man, you should become a fireman." And I was like, "Okay," and I did that, and so volunteer, and I it was doing like factory work and stuff like that as I was going through schooling and everything for that, and ended up becoming a professional fireman. Decided to move out to DC area to be a fireman out there,
Hmm.
and came back, and that's how I got into forestry. But man, recently, about 2 years ago, almost on the nose now, I started to have like face some real adversity at my previous employer, and it all came to a head, and my job title changed, a lot of things changed, and I was no longer happy. And I started realizing that a lot of the issues that I was facing were self-inflicted, and
Hmm.
how I coped with those issues were self-inflicted. And man, I started making sure that I was waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning, and I started doing that. And then through that, I was like, well, now I've got this extra time in the morning. I need to start going to the gym because, man, I mean, for years, like I was always so afraid of going to the gym because I didn't want people to judge me. I didn't want to hurt. I didn't
Hmm.
want to feel like crap, whatever.
Yep.
And then one day it was just like, no, you're gonna do this. And in March of 24, I started going every day. And I mean, I did that for a while, and then I started traveling more. And you fall off here and there,
Hmm.
but I did that for about a year, and I stayed away from cardio because I was like, I'm not a runner. And I started realizing that, okay, I'm going to do a mile every day at incline, slow pace. And then I started realizing that the days that I started off by doing the number one thing that I've always hated doing, I was so much more productive for the
Hmm.
rest of the day because I got something that I hated out of the way. Everything else was easy.
Eat the frog, right? That's
There
what
you
they
go.
always say. Um,
There you go.
the only way is through, and normally the biggest obstacle in our life is, the biggest challenge or whatever. It's because we are scared to face the thing that's holding us back. You
Yeah.
know, the road to success is normally right in front of us. It's just breaking through that failure or that perceived fear of doing the thing for whatever reason. The morning time, I love what you did there because I wake up at 2:50 a.m. Monday through Friday. I train from 3:30 to 5, 5 to 6:30 ish is personal development. It's in my
Yep.
calendar every day. That's my time. And
Yep.
I started doing that probably like 15 years ago, roughly. I'd wake up,
Yeah.
work out, whatever before I'd start my business day. But when I started just scheduling that, and it's non-negotiable for me,
Yeah.
dude, everything changed because, like you said, you get the hardest part out of the day. I have already conquered the world that day by 6 a.m., and I haven't even done anything in my business yet. But my body is right, my mind is right. Physical output, mental input are two of my five daily non negotiable standards that I live by. And I swear by them because if you can tax your body, tame your mind, you're going to continue to grow. I fell down a lot, but I refuse to fall back. I always try to fall forward if I'm going to. And so it's just a micro dose some days. Some days it's a lot, but always trying to get something in to keep the momentum going forward.
Man, and that's it. And then, here as of recently, next to running was always core, right? Like, because I've always been stronger, right? But like core and cardio, they're the worst. So as of recently, I started making it to where it's like I do compound for 25, and then I do kettlebell core for 20, and then I do cardio for 20. And I make sure that I get an hour or a mile, and try to knock all that in with an hour. And I just try to kick my own ass every single morning, because then after that, nobody else can. And
Right.
if I get that out of the way, then it's like I'm ready to take on whatever.
Bring it the fuck
And
on.
there you
What
go,
else is
man.
out there, right? I mean, what else can go
Yes.
wrong? It doesn't matter. I'm already built for it.
Yeah. And there's some days where like I'll beat my ass. You know what I mean? Like I'll end up hurting, and I'm like, I'm paying for it for the rest of the day. But it's like, you know what? You got up and you did it, man. And that to me is what means the most.
There are days, Josh, where I question how ignorant it was for me to get up and do it. But I know, like from an actual legit factual standpoint, that was probably pretty damn dumb. Physically, it didn't help
Yeah.
me. Mentally, I'm already fucked. But I know if I don't do it, what's going to happen mentally, and what
100%.
eventually would happen physically. Because if you give yourself the excuse, it's a gateway to a new habit forming, which that new habit would be the one that's the opposite of what you need to be doing.
Yeah. And man, admittedly, I've traveled so much over the last 2 weeks that I've only made it to the gym like once or twice. But I know, like being back home now today, I'm gonna be there first thing in the morning, because it's like you once you get to the point where like that is your routine,
Mm-hmm.
now you feel worse than what you ever did before it wasn't your routine.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you're almost craving it, right? And
It's just the light. Like I don't know. I don't move well if I don't. I don't breathe well. I don't feel good. I don't like
100%.
everything's screwed up if I don't hit it first thing in the morning. It could be 20. I've had some of the most intense workouts in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, programming that I do right now, it's Corey Gregory, old school gym in Granville. I don't know if you're familiar
Yeah.
with him. I'm sure. Okay. So me and G, we've trained together for quite a while, and he has Pump 30 workouts, 30 minutes, all time under tension, time frame training. And so it's a short duration. I'm in and out in 45 minutes. Dude, some days my ass is whipped now. And it's Corey G Fitness app. Go to it, dude. It's so good.
Yeah.
And my cardio is in that 30 minutes because I'm just lifting a lot faster. And so
Yeah.
like I'm racing myself almost every week. It's
Yeah.
great. And so like I used to be the very heavy lifting power lifter style for a couple of years. And I was on track to, you know, hit some personal PRs on bench, and like I started really making momentum. And then I had a pec injury, and then everything started feeling really bad. I'm like, you know what? I got to course correct for a while. It's
Yeah.
been like a year and a half or 2 years that I've done this, and I'll be way better if I go back to lifting heavy. But I feel much better now because I'm
Yeah.
not lifting out of my means. That's not my fight right now. My fight's in my business, so I know where the energy and time has to go. I just don't want to miss.
Yeah. No, I mean, and man, like there for a while, and I don't know if this in relation, if this is much, but it's like 305 was like kind of my norm on bench,
Mhm.
and it's like I hurt, and I was like I was worried I was going to do something to myself, because I go to Max Fit there in
Oh,
Newark, right,
yeah.
and um, I'm by myself though, right, and I don't want to hurt myself or whatever, and I don't want to talk to people, so it's not like spotting.
Mhm.
It's a mistake on my end. I know it is, but I started focusing more on my mental like the performance aspect of it, right?
Mhm.
Like getting it done and hitting it hard versus like just trying to slow grind.
Yeah.
And I feel so much better when I like actually hit it hard, kind of some higher intensity stuff, and just really try to kick my own ass within an hour than I ever did before. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just trying to get my core built up. But
It's unless you're unless you're lifting heavy for sport or for
yeah,
like a specific reason, I can kick my own ass with little to no weight in a short amount of time. If you want to just build muscle with, if it's recovery fit, whatever it is, the intensity of the training is only as good as the connection that your mind and your muscle
yeah,
have together. And
there
so,
you go.
you know, like learning to connect the two with lower weight actually contributes substantially to the higher weight once you get there.
Yeah,
Um, we'll have to talk after we get done recording, but Max Fit, I was there for before I started going back to OSG with Corey in probably 2021. I
yeah,
trained at Max Fit for probably 6 or 7 years,
yeah,
yeah, if not a little longer. But so I know that gym very well.
yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't crossed paths, to be honest with you, but um, we will, and I'll get you the old school gym one of these mornings if you're up for it,
Cool, man.
or 3:30, 4 a.m. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
I
So
love it.
how many people do you know in the industry that work out when they travel, eat right at all? This is something that I'm particular on when talking to, a leader like yourself in the industry that actually is about the iron game, because it's very few and far between that have any idea of what to do, how to do it, or even care to do it.
So as far as the nutrition side is something, and that's something I want to touch on like very intimately because it has other things for me and my wife's, our fertility stuff.
Mhm.
But as far as like working out on the road, man, I got some rig welder buddies that they make sure they're in the gym every night
Mhm.
because those, I mean, they got to be on the right away
Yeah.
pretty early. The guy that I work for, Ryan, I mean, he's working out almost every morning too, and um, I'm finding that more and more people, I think, are starting to get away from the old school mentality
Mhm.
of like I'm gonna be out all night drinking. I'm gonna be doing drugs. Man, I was on a pipe gang bus in 2018 in West Virginia, West Union, West Virginia, and I'm sitting in the back of this bus. It's 6:30 in the morning. We're waiting to go out to the right of way. A rig welder out of Texas gets on with a cooler, opens that thing up, and cracks a Mick Ultra at 6:37 in the morning. And I was like, okay, so we're doing this.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, that is not really my jam right there. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm starting to see it become more and more of a thing because I think people are realizing that, if they want to be where they want to be, it's not going to happen accidentally, and
No.
it's not going to happen by following, just going with the flow. You got to make it happen. And I think that a lot of people are starting to recognize the cognitive benefit of physical exercise and physical exertion first thing in the morning or just in general, and what that does for your mental health, your just overall well being
It's
as a
huge.
human. And
Huge.
it is everything.
It is.
It has completely changed my life, man. And because
Mhm.
I used to be really pessimistic and just like down on stuff. And it's like, man, why? Like, what's the point? So,
If you can be in a bad mood for no reason, you can be in a good mood for no reason. It's like,
100%.
and it's one of my like standards that I have for myself, protect your positivity, because the ability to visualize something as a good thing or a great thing versus the ability to visualize it as bad is a
Hmm.
split second choice, because we are survival creatures. We're not built for success. We're built to survive. That's why
Hmm.
our bodies don't like to work out, because it's a stressor. It's hard. Our minds like it because we get better, but our bodies don't want to deal with that. They want to maintain fat so your body has something to store, to eat off of, to survive. It doesn't want to build muscle because that's just hard on your body. And so, like, our bodies are not wired to be positive or to get stronger or to do these things. And so, when you have the ability to overcome negativity in a moment, it's so powerful when you do it as an example and it's thoughtless as a leader. So, over time, it just becomes a practice that you have. Protect your positivity, man. I can't say it enough, because of the industry. You know, if you're a happy person in general, throw yourself out on a pipeline crew of misery, miserable old foreman that's been there for 25 years. Watch yourself when you go home every night and how miserable you become. And I call it
100%.
the hamster wheel. It's like you wake up pissed off, you go to work pissed off, you work all day pissed off, go home, go to bed, do it all over, and you live your life that way. And to me, that's not living, Josh.
No, and it's not. Um, and I think that once I started figuring out how much better I feel by forcing myself to like, you force yourself to do something that you think sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is a breeze after that.
Yep.
And then so on the nutrition side of it, my wife and I are going through some pretty in-depth fertility stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together for 9 years now, 8, 9 years now, and we've been married for, she's gonna kill me, 4.5. So 4 in July of this year.
Right.
Yeah, we got her.
Yeah, yeah. We'll keep up on
But
that.
so we started right before we got married. We started like, hey, as irresponsible as this is, we've never really tried to not get pregnant, and we've never even had like a slip up. Um, so we started thinking like something's going on here,
Mm.
and we started going down that fertility journey. She has great fertility insurance through where she works, decent income. It facilitates us to kind of explore some different things.
Mhm.
And so it came back, we have unexplained infertility. And between my wife, and she's the smartest person that I know, and my mom, who is like into biohacking, right?
Mhm.
Started figuring out that like we downloaded this app called Yuka and started looking at all of the things that we're putting in or on our bodies, be it like soaps,
Mhm.
foods, whatever. And we scan every single thing that we eat, man. And that in and of itself has made such a drastic difference
Mhm.
in how I feel cognitively, because I have ADHD horrible,
Same.
and the brain fog that you
Mhm.
get. And most of the last 2 years of my life has been nothing but figuring out how to combat brain fog, right? And I, I'm starting to learn that nicotine is a huge contributing factor to that.
Mhm.
So I'm off nicotine, and I switched over to the nootropic pouches.
Mhm.
And like, you know, the nutrition side of physical fitness, because at the end of the day, the only reason I started going to the gym was for cognitive function.
Mhm.
And yeah, sure, I want to not be as chubby as what I have been, or whatever, but I want my brain to be at peak performance at all times. And because I have ADHD, that's why I started waking up early so I could take my Vyvanse or whatever. And then by the time everybody else woke up, I was already at the same speed they were. And no, man, I think that nutrition is such an underappreciated factor to all this, because people don't realize how bad the stuff that we have like readily available to us is for our bodies.
Like complete poison.
Oh, it is. I mean, man,
And
like
yeah,
I was driving home from Virginia the other day, and I was about halfway home, and I was like, I want some Taco Bell. I regretted it for 2 days. I swear I did.
yeah.
I felt horrible, and I have not even wanted any kind of fast food since then.
The best thing that ever happened to me, because I used to have stomach issues like my entire life. It's a
Yeah,
genetic trait that I inherited. And I would get like horrible stomach pain all the
yeah,
time for years. I couldn't figure it out, dude, forever. I could not
yeah.
figure it out. And I was finally fed up with it because like I'm literally dying for 3 hours every morning. Like it was horrible.
Oh,
My gut, I looked like I was pregnant some mornings. It was like, what the hell is going on? So started doing more research, started looking into it. I'm like, I'm gonna go get food allergy testing, test done. I was allergic to like 15 different things, but the thing that surprised me the most, like eggs didn't surprise me. I
yeah,
would eat eggs every day. Gluten was another one. My nickname as a kid was the Doughboy. I was chunky as shit growing up. That's part of the reason I started working out so young. Like I like my glutens, whatever.
yeah.
But the one
Yeah.
that got me was pepper. So
Seriously.
pepper, I'm like literal allergy to peppers for real. So I have to be careful with steak seasoning. My throat, it'll swell shut. So I was sitting in my truck one day, like eating lunch, and I had seasoned ground beef with rice, and I had chicken stock on it to keep. I used to put it in like a thermos. So when I was traveling, I'd heat it all up in the morning, put it in the thermos, and it'd stay warm. And by the time lunch rolled around, it was still hot.
Hmm.
And it had like bone broth or chicken extract or whatever in it. Um, and I was sitting there eating, and like I'm literally dying in the middle of the freaking parking lot trying to get this up. I couldn't figure it out. So it scared me bad enough that I went to the doctor and started looking into it. My doctor's like, "You dipshit, you need an EpiPen. That it'll literally kill you. You'll suffocate to death." So it like terrified me. I had Nexium and Pepsi Complete I was taking like every day.
Hmm.
And probably a year and a half. So I came off the Nexium like really quick. The Pepsi Complete I did over time, just avoiding them foods, and
Yeah.
dude, it changed my life. So like
Hmm.
the distended gut, all that, it wasn't even body fat. It was my stomach was literally inflamed. And I know today, like if I ate something I shouldn't have, I'll know the next day when I wake up because my gut will be inflamed. My core won't even contract. So like I would do ab workouts. I know I didn't feel an ab workout for probably 5 years because my core was so like inflamed.
Distended.
Yeah, and
Just,
decision on
yeah.
survival because it's always like bloating. It was always inflamed. And doing that, it changed everything for me. Like I probably looked like I lost 20 pounds in my stomach,
Yeah.
shrank my stomach a bunch, but really I was just able to actually be normal.
Man, and that's something, the food allergy thing. Yeah, I'm probably, when we get off of here, going to order one of those,
I'm
because
telling you.
dude, it is your gut is your second brain.
Hmm.
And I think one of the big things that I found is that, and that's all credit to my mom, man. I mean, she was diagnosed with ADHD way late
Mhm.
into adulthood. And I think within the last 4 or 5 years. So she's been on this whole like fever pitch of just like figuring out how to help. Same thing that I do, brain fog,
Mhm.
distension, things like that. And man, gut health is everything. And I'm learning that there's a lot of things that contribute to that. And like, I mean, back to the nicotine pouches, man. You swallow the spit from that. You don't make sure that you're spitting all that stuff
Mhm.
out. It's wrecking your gut biome.
Literally,
And
like it's like drinking antifreeze.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
literally wiping. It's like you might as well drink Drano.
yeah. And I feel so much better. Like all of the things that back to coping, right? All the things that I thought made me feel better and made me perform better is everything that was holding me back.
Because it was that initial dopamine rush or feeling that you thought was making it better, not seeing that it was a long term, you know, like setback where it wasn't
Yeah,
a short term success either. You just felt like it in that moment because it was a quick hit.
yeah,
Been there,
man.
man.
And
Like I smoked and chewed when I was in the field for probably 4 years, 5 years. And then finally I had someone challenge me one day that his name's Mike Daly. He's a great friend of mine. I haven't talked to him for a couple of years, but um, when he retired, we worked hand in hand for years. And he's like, Jake, I was actually prep. It was 2013. I was prepping for a bodybuilding show. I'm out of town in a hotel 6 days a week. I'm in Southern Ohio on the road. I'm doing a 12-week cut for a bodybuilding show, and I'm smoking and chewing. So I'm sitting
mm,
there eating like, you know, chicken, tuna packs, green bean. Because I'm on the road, I'm eating tuna packs and green beans like 3 times a day. The eggs from the hotel and like
oh,
almonds. Like it was a very strict, very rigid diet. It was
yeah,
miserable as hell. And
yeah,
so my dessert used to be taking celery and putting fucking hot sauce on it. Like that would make me happy for that day. Yeah, trust
okay,
me. It was bad. I was all
okay,
in. Went from 235 to 197. On stage, I was 197. It's the smallest I had been for a while. And he's like, Jake, you're doing this show. You're ripped. You're lean. And you're sitting here smoking a cigarette. And you're going to tell me that you're healthy? He had cancer. So it was like it was personal for him. He attacked me. And Mike Daly, if you ever see this video, thank you. To this day, from that moment on, I haven't touched it. And he came up to me and he challenged me. He's like, man to man, I bet you can't stop right now. You don't have the balls to do it. And he called me out on the spot. And 5 years of doing that, I quit that day and I've never looked back. And so he changed the perception of it for me and changed my reality that I knew I could. I never really had a reason that I thought I should though. Like it was just
yes,
kind of a habit that I was crunching onto. And I said, you know what, you're right, Mike. I was like, you're gonna win, but I'm also gonna or you're gonna lose the bet, but I'm gonna win, and you're also gonna win because you're gonna get what you want anyways. Shook his hand, never looked back. And wild to think like the amount of time I would swallow spit, almost puke, or had a couple times in the old pipeline days where maybe be in a spoil pile or something, maybe in a fist fight and a whole chew swallowed like instantly.
yeah,
Like and dude, the gut pain that I would get from that, not even realizing it was horrible. When I got that allergy testing back, I was blown away at the amount of stuff that I was consuming daily that was literally like poison. So highly recommend it, man. And
yeah.
it's that one pepper. Like the pepper is what kills me. Like could literally kill me. And it was the thing I was probably consuming all the time that was killing me, and I would have never guessed it.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah,
I almost want to just do it right now. Like, let's figure this out because, man, gut health is it's everything. It literally is everything because, you know, it, trust your gut, right? And that's why they say that because
that instinct. Yeah.
all of this gets filtered through all of this,
hmm
and I don't know. That's awesome.
It's
That's good stuff.
incredible. It really is incredible because now looking back, it's so obvious. Like
100%.
I'm like, sitting here thinking, you dipshit, why did you not know this? Like
Yeah.
you're shitting your guts out every morning for 2 hours, 3 hours. You're literally like collapsing on the floor in pain sometimes. You feel like someone's beating you from the inside of your stomach. You're eating the similar foods like, on rotation every week or whatever, but like you can't go 20 minutes after eating without going to the bathroom. There's probably something wrong with you. Like you probably need
Yeah.
to change and you haven't figured it out for your whole entire lifetime. So why would you think it's going to change now?
Yeah.
Obvious, right? Hindsight
Yeah.
2020, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, that's wild. No, I appreciate that, man.
So, after we get done, I'll get your number. We can talk offline, but
Okay.
definitely get you more into that because I'm telling you, it was a game changer for me.
Absolutely.
So,
No, I appreciate that.
so you talked about the IVF and you
Yeah.
talked about this whole thing. Give me a little bit more context on that. What's that like? What else have you learned? What's the what's the journey like? What are some things that if anyone else had to struggle with this, that you would say, hey, why don't you try this or that?
So number one, it is probably one of the most crippling things that you will ever go through, right? So, mind you, my wife is my absolute best friend. Like that girl is, she is the reason why I've turned into who I am today. And to see the pain and just the hurt that it causes her every single month when it's another, you know, when that time comes around, or it's, another failed test. And because we did 3 embryo transfers, every single one of them was a failure. And it is absolutely crippling. And that actually is the catalyst, I think, that kind of really started some of the stuff 2 years ago, because it lives rent free in your
Mm.
heart, in your mind, everywhere. It is all consuming. So initially we started out with testing, right? So that's the first thing they're going to want to do. So we got tested, obviously, samples from both of us, whatever, and everything was good. The counts and the whatever, the mobility and all that was really good. Genetically, there's no issues there, because some people actually can't get pregnant because genetically they just aren't a match, which is, I mean, heartbreaking in itself. But so they said, well, you have unexplained infertility, because we tried, 4 IUIs, which is where they, transfer the sperm into her. But and then they're like, okay, I think we're going to have to move forward with doing a round of IVF. So we did the round of IVF, or we did the lead up to that, where you got to get all the eggs, all the hormones and everything, and she just starts growing all the eggs, and we ended up getting, I believe it was 20 follicles, so 20 eggs, 15 of which were mature, 10 of which fertilized, or 15 fertilized, something like that. And then there were 8 that ended up being like good candidates for transfer. Um, well, when we went in to do the egg retrieval, her estrogen was through the roof. Like it was 200 over where it should be. So they're like, your estrogen's too high. We're not going to do a fresh embryo transfer. So we're going to send all the embryos off to testing. You guys just need to chill, let your estrogen come down, and we'll do it next month. Well, following the egg retrieval, she ended up going into this thing called ovarian hyperactivity syndrome. And because of all the eggs that she had produced, her her ovaries filled with fluid, and it just got super painful. Talk like really distended and everything. We ended up at the hospital 4 days later at like 3 o'clock in the morning because she was in so much pain, and went through all that. Well, so then we start doing all the embryo transfers, and it's just the first one was a failure and it wrecked her. The second one came back as a low positive. So we got our hopes up because there was HCG in the blood test and everything looked good. And they're like, oh, you might actually be there. So we're on cloud nine, and that's on a Friday. Monday we go back in for another blood test, and it's at 0. Killed her. Just, I mean, absolutely wrecked her. Wrecked both of us. And then we went and we did another transfer. But in between there, our fertility doctor ended up trying to have her get tested for some other conditions. Came back and said that she had it. And she's like, if you guys do this treatment protocol, you're getting pregnant this time. Well, we didn't get pregnant that time. And after that transfer, our doctor called and she was like, we think that we should put you on birth control to keep your estrogen levels low, to keep the endometriosis from coming back. And we were like, nah, we're done. We're done with this. Because for us, I mean, like you do some research and do birth control for endometriosis is palliative at best. Like it's not going to do anything, and it's 1950s science that's been disproven. It's just doctors for some reason are still using that. So what we did after that is that's where the nutrient thing comes back in. We started looking at all of what we were eating. Her and I both did a micronutrient test, which I think it tested like 250 different things within the body and to see all where our levels were there. Got that regulated. And then we've just been working on some other stuff. I mean, there's a whole other thing called urea plasma. and there's a test called EVI. The one thing that I can say to people is that from what we're seeing, unexplained infertility, 50% rather of unexplained infertility is caused by either ureaplasma or something called BV. I'm not going to get into BV because it's women stuff, but I would wholeheartedly recommend that if anybody is going through fertility struggles with their partner, their significant other, that get this test called EVI, test for ureaplasma, test for BV, and it literally, we're in the back end of it now. So we're 60 days from, or coming up on 60 days from when we started the whole treatment protocol, and we're trying. I mean, we're like hoping that some things are better now, and we'll see what happens. So fingers crossed there, man. But
that's a lot to carry, my friend. Good
that
luck.
is a lot to
Good
carry.
luck.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
The other side of that is that what Brooklyn's my wife, what her and I have found is that all of this could have absolutely tore us apart. And all of this could have absolutely turned into finger pointing or whatever. Every single hurdle that we have faced in this whole journey has done nothing but brought us together. Because every hurdle is an opportunity for you and your significant other to collaborate. And it's an opportunity for you guys to come together. And you check your ego at the door, you check your pride at the door, and you just come at this with an open heart and an open mind, and you say, let's figure this out together. And as long as you are going at stuff with that open mindset and just, honesty, it has allowed us to be, absolutely untouchable, man.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipelineinc.com. That's an amazing message to send out there, because back to protecting your positivity,
There you go, man.
what you focus on expands. And if I know anything to be true, it's that whether good or bad, it's your choice, but what you're focusing on during the day will become a factor in your life. And whether good or bad, it's your choice, and it's everyone's choice. In my coaching program, I have a coaching program called Unlocking Greatness. And so it's really helping business leaders, create systems for their self, personally and professionally, to scale and live the life of chaos-free and build confidence out of it. And so in the coaching program, I talk about systems, and then I talk about there's two outcomes in life. You either become victorious and live the life you want, or you become a victim and give up the life that you want, and then make that be the excuse why you couldn't accomplish anything. Expecting life to be easy is what will make it extremely hard. Knowing it's going to be hard and knowing that you have to be battle tested to go up against that hard, pray for strength. You're going to get challenged with an opportunity to get stronger. It's your choice whether or not to take it on and do what you need to do to become stronger. The reality is, and no matter how hard this is to accept for anyone in any challenge in life, Josh, you and I both, and anyone listening to this when it comes out, you have faced challenges in life, but you have survived every single challenge in your life to date because you're still alive. Every failure, every challenge in life is nothing more than psychological. Unless you're dead, outside of death, everything is psychological. It is not a final or fatal thing. What you do and how you perceive it is the ultimate thing, though, that will get you through it, or the thing that will bury you.
I couldn't agree more. I absolutely couldn't agree more. So to the failure thing, right? At a previous position that I had, in 2021, I hired on at a new company, and I said, I can get you, this contract, right? And they're like, okay, we've tried. Well, in the process of doing so, we're out on a job site, and I ended up ripping down 6 spans of double stack 3-phase power line. And the guy came out, and somehow it was 100% my fault, right? But somehow it wasn't. And because there was some other factors at play there, that there was an anchor line that shouldn't have been in the property that we were working on. That was what I actually ripped down, and that's what pulled all those spans of 3-phase down. Man, I spun that into an opportunity to interface with the forester, who got me in touch with his boss, who that's how we ended up getting a contract. And we grew that contract into, from a pretty big fuck up to millions of dollars. And my mindset shortly thereafter kind of became like, if you're gonna fuck up, then you better fail up. And if you're able to screw something up so bad, you need to be able to figure out how to fix it, and then you can figure out how to prevent it. But everything that you learn along the way is going to be so valuable down the road somewhere. And
It's so good, dude. So good.
I mean, it's just it's the case. And man, I mean, I have been my own worst enemy for most of my life. And if there's one thing that I can learn, it's that if you're going to find yourself in a situation at your own, because of your own actions or inactions, then you better learn what it takes to get you out of there, because nobody's coming to save you.
Nobody.
Right? Like nobody's, and if they are, they're not doing you any service. Um, and that, I mean, I credit that to my parents, man. Like, they both worked 80 hours my entire childhood. So I kind of raised myself from like third grade on, and they would get home late and everything, and kind of left me to my own devices to a little bit. And I wasn't very successful with that. Being a kid, I kind of found my way into, being a little bit of a degenerate to a degree. And I think that it's benefited me in the long run, man, because it's allowed me to, make the mistakes, figure them out, and get through it.
I grew up young myself. I was an adult before legally. I was probably a teenager, just by provided opportunity to take on certain things. Like it wasn't no horrible livelihood. I had grown up, had a great, childhood, but, provided the opportunity to work hard, or given the responsibility to work hard. And so I'm very appreciative of that. I'm thankful that I had that at a young age. I was so out of character for my class, my age. I found myself hanging out with, a few years older. That was my crew for a while. And then it was a few years younger, was kind of my crew, but never really my own age, because I was so damn different than most of my age group. And I couldn't figure out why for the longest time. And that's why I started acting out at certain stages in life. I would have the time because I have my license now, and I would act out on it. And it was just me being lost because I didn't fit in. And now I'm thankful that I never fit in, because I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be like me in my future.
100%.
And so
100%, man.
I truly think that I do a framework called the Dream Framework, and I've done a couple speaking events and whatnot, and talked on this, but your dream's like your fingerprint, man. And so I opened up my last speaking engagement, and I just had everyone in the crowd just rub their fingers together like this. And then I had them look at your index finger. No one else, Josh, has a fucking index finger like you do. Put that on paper, and that's your dream. Everyone has their own individual dream. And in order for that dream to be a reality, everyone else's dream for you has to die. That's just a matter of life. And doesn't mean that anyone has bad intentions for their dream for you, but it's not yours. You got to find your own dream. The dream framework's pretty simple. It's direction. What direction are you heading on now? What direction should you be heading on to live out your dream? The second one is risk. What's the risk if you take on this thing? What's the risk if you don't? The cost of inaction. The E is empower. You have to empower yourself to believe that you are worthy of accomplishment. You are worthy of living the life that you want, and you have to empower the people that are on your team and in your circle to believe in themselves enough to go on the journey with you. The A is action. It's all about that action, boss. You can't do a fucking thing if you don't actually apply action to it. And then the M is mountain. What's your mountaintop? And not only what does the mountaintop look like for you, but as you climb up that mountain, you got to make sure that you enjoy the process. So don't focus so much on the view that you don't enjoy the climb. Find joy in the journey and not have destination disease. That's what I did when trying to buy R&R Pipeline. For 12 years, I focused on one thing. And when I got there up on this mountaintop, Josh, I didn't enjoy it because I had already seen it. I took it for granted, but I didn't enjoy the fucking process to get there. I didn't embrace it. I didn't, have presence with it. So when I got there, I was more internally defeated than I'd ever been, and I had no idea why. And it took a couple years to figure out. That's the dream, but everybody has to live out their own dream.
Yeah. Man, it's kind of like people say, like, know your why, right? And I think that everything you just said, man, speaks so true
Mm-hmm.
to my life because I, I I have a really bad habit of like instant gratification, and it's that dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's with ADHD, man, dopamine is your drug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see something you want, and you're not happy until you get it, and then you get it, and you're like, well, what
That's
now?
it. This is it.
Yeah, like yeah,
I
and
can feel something, right? I don't feel anything
yeah,
yet.
and man, I think everything. I guess I've never heard anybody put it into terms of measurable like that. Like I have my direction, and then I know like what I'm risking there, and it's just that action is like get it, get it, get it. But it's like enjoying the climb for me has honestly become more of where I get my fix
Mm-hmm.
than the actual mountaintop. Because it's like everything that yeah, that view's awesome, and it's like hell yeah, here we go. But man, I mean, if you're sitting there enjoying the view of your mountaintop, what climb are you not climbing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's been my whole thing. And it's like, I have really bad imposter syndrome, and I have really bad like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for a reason. Um, and I think that one of the things that I've learned lately is that the best way to combat that imposter syndrome is to outwork yourself. And I don't always do a great job of it. Like sometimes I get distracted, whatever. But it's like I've learned that by setting a list and setting those like goals for myself for the day, and then making sure that I am like intentional in accomplishing those goals for the day and checking those tasks off
Mm-hmm.
is it for me, man. That is my high anymore. Because I mean, there's a pretty large project that we just got awarded, and it's like, okay, cool. But everything between when we got the opportunity and when they gave us the final like verbal award, that's what I do it for right there. It's that game. It's that gamble. And I think everything you just said it rings so true. And if more people would allow themselves to fall into that mindset
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like start looking at things like, okay, that's where I want to end up, and then planning that out, executing it, and enjoying that execution and all of the struggles, the highs and the lows, man, that would I think a lot more people would be a lot more successful.
My entire life, Josh, I was persistent in my pursuit. Like,
Yes.
relentless a fucking dog. You better come at me hard and kill me before you stop me because I'm going to go through anyone in my way. What I realized, though, it's not about just persistence.
Mm-mm.
My life
It's
motto
about
today,
tact.
my life motto today is persistent patience. It's one of my
Yeah.
it's one of my core values in my coaching program. Persistent
Yeah.
patience. I am persistent in my pursuit, Josh. I am fucking relentless. I have more trouble slowing down than I do going faster. Like that's my reality. But I am completely patient with the outcome because all hard things that are worth accomplishment take time. And the time
Yeah.
will not be when you want it to be, and it will be harder than you think. And so by giving up the the push to get the outcome, it's not that I'm not still persistent. I'm just shifting my gears on what I can do to still progress forward. I have been overly persistent and actually made something be a setback, and it take longer
Yeah.
than it would have been had I allowed things to go according to course. So it's realizing the reality that the view ultimately is the climb. When you can turn
Yeah.
around on that mountaintop every day and look and say, you know what, I'm climbing up this mountain. It's a pretty damn good view. And in the
You
darkest
know,
days, man, that's when it counts the most.
absolutely. And so as you're saying that, it kind of rings true into back to like right of way clearing, right? Like you can be focused
Mm-hmm.
and just looking at the forest. If I got at the end of the day, you can turn around, you can see where you've been, you can see what you got done. And I think that is, you want to talk about the ultimate dopamine
Mm-hmm.
hit, it's clearing right away. Or, being on a front end crew, welding out pipe, and knowing that you were involved in welding out, 48 sticks or joints of pipe that day, 1,500 linear feet. And it's like, that's what we did, boys.
Dude,
Hell yeah.
I used to love clearing right away. It was like when we do cross country work, even though it was smaller pipe for distribution, I would be one of my favorite things. Give me a damn
Oh, I
dozer
love
and
it.
a couple guys with a chainsaw, and I'll see you in 12 hours.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sad. Like that used to be because you could do that. You know where you started because that's where your lunchbox is probably sitting. and then you know where you ended that day when you walk back to get it, and it's like, oh shit,
Hmm.
look at what we did here, boys. We changed the landscape of Earth today with clearing
Yeah,
the ground, and like put it in perspective that way. It's like, oh damn, that's kind of cool.
yeah, yeah. My two career options in life so far have been a fireman and land clearing. In both instances, you know when you
You're
like,
flattened
you
shit
know where
out
you've
either
been.
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the ground is getting flattened out one way or the other.
like
Yeah,
that fire's not there anymore, so
yeah,
we did our job.
yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'm a little too into instant gratification, like I'm taking it too literal. I don't know.
I can appreciate it because I understand that thought. You know, we go do like a replacement job and you go replace a large section of town and all this
Hmm.
infrastructure is getting updated. We just serve that community, even though they might not be recognized by the community, but
Yeah,
we just really increase that community's safety and awareness and what's going on for years to come. And so there's pride in that. There's pride in you know in what work that you do. America was built on the backs of people like me and you. You know, America was built on the blue collar workforce, and the blue collar workforce, just like everything else, has evolved. And I think, Josh, we're in a prime time for evolution in this industry because people have their eyes open a lot more. It's not like you got a captain's eye patch over one eye and like the other eye's got, you know, sunglasses that are all scraped up and you can't really see through it, like your beer goggles. That's the older pride driven industry where like I look at collaboration as the way to success because the amount of workload is going up and the amount of people wanting to do it is going down. There's got to be something to bridge that gap, and to me, it's collaboration and partnership. You know, let's
yeah,
unify for the same thing to get the same outcome, and let's go faster. Like two horses, draft horses. You know, one can pull 8,000 pounds by itself. So logic would tell you it can pull 16,000 with two, but if they are in sync, unified, they can pull 32,000 pounds. Two draft
100%.
horses in sync. To me, that's the way of acceleration in the future.
Man, and I think beyond that, it's recognizing people's mental health, right? Because now the old way, it was you just powered through. You just
You
sucked it
drink
up, you
yourself
just
to
powered
death.
through. There you go.
Yeah.
You found those vices, and that's how you got through it. But I think that our parents' generation
Hmm.
did so much. I think our parents' generation, right? So like the baby boomers and
Hmm.
everything. I think they caused so much damage to our parents that now our generation is able to see in real time, like cause and effect
Hmm.
of bad choices. Because years ago, I mean, you could hide it, right? You can't hide anything anymore. You see it right now.
Hmm.
People know about it before you've even been charged with it. Like it's kind of one of those things, and I think that to your point, we as a society have such a golden opportunity to not go down the same path as those before us, but still get the same done, if not more, and if not, and do it better, do it safer,
Hmm.
do it more collaborative, and do it more efficiently. Because ultimately, like there's guys, man. I mean, safety is no joke, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm like some pillar of safety, but it truly is like you have to make sure that your guys go home at the end of the day.
Oh man.
And you have to make sure that you're giving them all of the tools in order for them to go home at the end of the day. And man, the guys that I work with now are hands down the most efficient people
Hmm.
in our industry that I've ever seen. And I am so blessed that I get to be around guys that love their job the way that they do and are as good at their job as what they are.
Yeah.
Because it is no bullshit, man. I mean, when these guys roll up into a job and we've got a front end crew behind us and these guys are getting 2,000 and 3,000 linear feet done a day, ready to get topsoil stripped off by that front end crew right
Hmm.
behind you, it's like, oh my Lord. Like this is the big leagues.
You gotta move.
And that's a small crew for us, right?
Hmm.
So, that daily production just goes up from there. And I think that we as a society are in that prime opportunity that if we check our egos at the door, we check our pride at the door, and we just know what we don't know, and you have somebody there
Hmm.
willing to teach you because knowledge is power, but man, sharing knowledge is
It's an accelerator,
legacy, right? And all these guys that want to hold all this knowledge and withhold it all, the
dude.
old school guys, it is crippling because it's like you are almost cementing your fate and being that guy, right? You're not
Hmm.
building a legacy by not building up those underneath you. The way that you build that legacy is you empower, back to your whole thing, you empower those around you to be able to do your job just as good as, if not better than you can. And like, man, it's like so-and-so taught me this. And that's how you cement your legacy.
Dude, I love what you're saying because it is one of the most profound outliers in our workforce.
Yeah.
When I started to realize that at 22, I said, I'm going to buy R&R Pipeline by the time I'm 30. I said it out loud to maybe 5 people and they all laughed, rightfully so. And looking back, I would have fucking probably laughed too. But never underestimate the amount of determination of somebody else, though, whenever that circumstance comes up. It's rare that someone actually goes through with it, but when they do, better fucking watch out. But when I would say that, it was like I was delusional. But I seen that thing for so long. And I realized, though, I can't even advance to the next. I can't even become an operator if I can't replace myself as a laborer. I would train someone to replace me, and I did that even to this day. If you can do my job, if I train you, you can do it better than me, then come fucking take it. That's how I view the world, because if I'm lifting up people, everybody gets lifted to a higher level. That's accountability for me to maintain my growth. It doesn't slow me down. It's not competition. If someone can do something better than me, then fucking take it. I'll find something else to do. I keep myself busy. I'm not concerned about that. Take it, elevate yourself, and run with it. 80% of your 100%, Josh, normally is really freaking awesome. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
If you can train someone to become 80% of your 100% best, that's damn good if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. You know, on mainline hoe operators, right? So like on underground utilities, footer guys, the best operators are the ones who are the best ground guys.
Yep.
And to your point right there, if you want to be a good operator, you need to cut your teeth in that ditch.
What are you operating
because you're
for?
gonna. There you go.
You got to know what you're operating for. That was a hard learning lesson for me. I started operating equipment. I have a video, 5 years old, 490 John Deere track hoe. My feet can't touch the floorboard. I'm digging a hole for the first time in my John Deere track hoe. It was like a natural thing for me. Actually doesn't look that horrible, especially for a 5-year-old. We probably hire people in now that are operators that can't do that. But
yeah,
nonetheless, like, I had a passion for it. That's why I got into the industry, is because my passion for running equipment. When I first was in the labor force, I was hell bent on being an operator like yesterday. Before I started, I should have been crowned that like champ, and I didn't know what I was digging for. I didn't know the work enough to know what I needed to even dig. Like, if I'm digging a tie now, I have no idea what I'm doing. Why would I be sitting in that seat? You got to pay your dues to get there. You have to know what you're digging for. I completely commend you for saying that, because that's such a great, valid point.
I mean, you gotta. Back to what I said earlier. It's knowing your why, and not only knowing your why, it's knowing your what. Right? Because how many guys do you send to dig that bell hole, and they're like, "Dig that what?
What for?
And
what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and they're not worried about the banks or their slope of their ditch, and they're not worried about the steps for whoever that fuser or whatever that welder to get in there, and they're not thinking about anything other than just being that guy.
Yeah,
they just want to be the guy. But so many people get lost in thinking that being the guy, you got to be good at it too, and you've got to be somebody that other people can look up to. And I think that for the longest time, I struggled with not only having people to look up to, but being somebody to look up to. And I a lot of times I don't even give myself credit for that now, right? Like, I don't think I'm anybody to look up to. I've got some really close friends, but I don't have a ton of friends, man. And I think that it's back to what you were saying. Like, we grew up so young, and we never. It was hard to relate with anybody in our age group. Older guys, hell yeah. But then you got the younger guys that you want to teach them, and you want to see them not make the same mistakes that you did. And that's where, like, I have found myself being like, I've got a really good friend who just turned 21 on Labor Day, and he is one hell of an employee, and he's passionate, and he cares, and he gives a fuck. And it's like, those are the guys that I wish that I would have been more like him when I was his age.
Yeah, same.
And I didn't have anybody teaching me and trying to guide me and mentor me, and that's what I really wish I would have had it when I was younger. Because back to what you were saying, everybody looked at you and laughed. but it's because none of those people had the same tenacity that you did. So you were
Mm-hmm.
intimidating to them and you threatened them. And that's very off-putting to people. And
Mm-hmm.
people almost want to like make you look bad so that they don't feel worse about themselves.
Dude, it's just them throwing their own personal insecurity right in your face because they are unable to like
100%.
regulate that. You know, the biggest probably mindset transformation thing that I've ever had happen to me is when I changed. And so physical change, physical transformation is obvious. It's external, it's physical, you can see it, it's a visual thing. When you change internally, the people that have known you the longest don't recognize it. It's the people that you maybe know in micro doses every few months that recognize you're different. What is it with you that's so different? But the ones that you see, you know, weekly or daily, the ones that are closest to you, they don't realize it. They still see you as that dipshit in high school, dead or in jail by 21. They don't realize the
Yeah.
growth. And so you don't have to like prove yourself right to anybody for them to know they're wrong. It just is what it is. And like
Yeah.
I look at it now, I'm more just improving myself focused, not proving anybody else wrong because there's very few people that I care about their opinions enough for me not to do what I'm going to do. Very, very few. And it's just about progress for me. It's not about any perfection. If I fail at everything in my life, I'm good with that because I will know that I did everything that I thought was right at the given time and I gave it everything I had. The outcome
So
is part of it, but it's not all of it.
that right there, man, that back to our fertility stuff. What you just said right there is something that I had the realization of within the last 6 months is before you start, you have to make peace with an outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make peace with that outcome because you've got to be able to leave it all on the line and saying like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it does? And what if it would have worked if I would have given it more? But I had to make peace with an outcome to justify giving it my all, whether that outcome ever came true or not. And like that has been my big why.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's like I will go all in on things if the outcome matters to me, whether it's guaranteed or not. Because what am I going to learn along the way? And I will be able to live knowing that I have no regrets and I left it all on the table. And if it
Yep.
doesn't work out, well, guess what? I'm still farther ahead than what I was when I started, and I'm a lot closer to being that goal than what I would have been otherwise.
Yep. You know, it's
So
the outcome is what you desire to obtain because of the effort. But entrepreneurship, when I took on the journey that I did, the only guarantee was that it was going to be hard as fuck. I was going to lose
yeah,
sleep. And more than likely, I didn't know a damn thing about a damn thing to realize how hard it was going to be. My goals and dreams and desires have no true guarantee at all. And not knowing if we are going to be able to accomplish the desired outcome is probably why we fucking work so hard because it's a game of chess. We are trying to see what is possible with this next move. And there's people that are highly intelligent that make one wrong move or make a couple wrong moves and never accomplish anything. But at the end of the day, on their deathbed, I guarantee you, Josh, that they are okay with it because they don't ask what if.
there you go. And I stopped allowing myself to even consider if there was a what if
Never.
because I made peace with an outcome. Whether I ever get there or not, I'm going to love that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to know that in that journey, I've learned more than what I could have ever done had I not taken the journey. So
Yeah. You know, the old
I
adage,
don't,
success is not final, failure isn't fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Continuity is what matters.
absolutely. Dude, yeah, I love that.
Josh, we could go on for hours, dude. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're definitely gonna connect outside of this. It's been great talking to you. And I want to get one thing clear between me and you. We haven't met each other yet. I'm gonna shake your hand soon, but
Yes, sir.
you should be fucking proud of who you are, where you're at. You are wise beyond your years. And so, not having met you outside of today, you're very intelligent. You're very wise in this industry, and you are a fucking leader. If you believe that or not, I'm telling you that if you don't believe it, you're wrong. Because good enough isn't a feeling, it's a reality check. My
Yeah.
friend, you are a fucking leader in this industry, and in my opinion, a complete badass.
Thank you, dude.
So,
I appreciate that, man.
any final thoughts as we wrap up today? A
Find
message
your
to the
why.
blue collar. You got a message for the
Find
blue
your
collar?
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Find your why and chase it and give it everything you've got. And that's my whole thing. Make peace with that outcome. Find your why and go get
Mm.
it. Because you are going to be so much better off, whether you get there or not, just by having chased it
Love it.
and giving it your all.
Live life with no regrets.
Hey, man, no
Don't be on your
regrets.
deathbed with any regrets. Go for it.
There you go.
Just
Yeah,
fucking go.
yeah.
Josh, appreciate your time today. Everyone in the blue collar workforce, listen to this episode, listen to it again, send it to your friends. Me and Josh both know what it's like to be in the trenches. Literally, physically, we came up through the ranks. We're doing what we want to do today, living life on our terms. And everyone out there listening, you can do it fucking too. And until you believe it, how you view it's how you do it. If you don't believe you can do it, then you won't be able to. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford said it best. Josh, appreciate your time today. Iron and Infrastructure Podcast, and we're out. This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by Unlocking Greatness with Jacob Emery, a coaching community built for those ready to become the strongest version of themselves. Weekly calls, proven playbooks, and a community built to grow. Greatness is not given, it's unlocked. Join us today at jacobemery.com or DM coach at jacobemery44 on all social media platforms.